This game was really ugly from our end for sure. One of the things that we've talked a fair amount about as a staff at times is what happens in those games where Tasha has a difficult time getting going or she has a difficult time getting looks because her and Brooke dominate so much, obviously, of our scoring, as well as the times when Xandra's struggling and she and Brooke aren't getting those big rebounds, right? Because Xandra's leading in the rebounding area in conference play as well as her field goal percentage. And so we've talked about who could step it up for us. And, we got some early open looks, and they weren't falling. Those mid-range jumpers, just because Tasha dominates so much of a scout, and they did a really good job of switching out on her, not really letting her get looks. And so when that happened for some of our kids, then they took those opportunities and they missed them. And so they tightened up even more. Well, what happens from that? Turnovers, bad shot selection, put a lot of pressure on our defense. We've been playing a fair amount of zone this year because we feel like that's the best defensive option that we have with the team that we have in this current season. We're continuing to refine our man-to-man and looking at ways to get better. But right now, that really was a big piece of our ability to be able to do a better job than we did last time. And we struggled. I'm sure we gave up 24 points in the paint. I cannot hide the fact that I'm really disappointed in our inability to stay poised and then get into next gear. I tried different rotations. I tried some different things offensively to kind of help get him going. I tried with some fire from my mouth. Tried a couple different things, and unfortunately it didn't work. The one thing that I can say, though, is that I am confident that our kids are, which you probably saw, they're not happy. They're disappointed. They're upset, and they're going to want some answers. Going to need some help with some answers, and I'll provide that tomorrow for sure in practice. And we got to move forward, period. And that's what I need to get them to do. In the meantime, it's my job to make sure that we're able to make adjustments, take a look at the film, see where we struggled. I think they did a pretty darn good job defensively on Tasha Levitt for sure. No one's done as good a job as they have tonight as far as really not letting her get to those early looks and forcing other people to have to score, and that's what they did. And I'm going to take a look at that to alleviate some stress for our kids, get us in a better position offensively. But from a defensive standpoint, we've got to do a better job. There were just way too many holes, not getting rebounds. We got in early foul trouble as well. That really hurt us, And so we had to go deep in our bench with, J.J. Johns, the JUCO kid we signed. She hasn't had an opportunity to play a lot. She had to play a lot tonight. She, for a pretty long period, was on concussion protocol. She came off concussion protocol, so she's just trying to get herself back into play. And actually her first game that she actually saw a little bit of minutes was at Georgia State. And so I think that was good for her, if I have to say a positive. That was good for her. Getting more minutes for Kennedy Taylor, Denasia Hood was important as well. Those are some things that I think that we can carry with us going in the next game. But that's truly, that's how I see it right now until I watch the film in the next hour or so.
Coach, you guys started off with a 12-6 lead.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel like it kind of slowed down offensively after that?
Because the looks that we felt we were going to get weren't there. So looks that we got the first go-around in playing them didn't come as easy. So you're going to have to make an extra pass. You have to see the extra pass to make it. And so by the time we saw it was too late, their zone had shifted. And so hence this is where I go back to, okay, then we started to tighten up. Or then we forced some action. Brooke got some open looks. She struggled tonight. She got some pretty good open looks. We had some really good open layups. Jayla missed some. I guess here it's only says she has one. I thought she had two. Two misses are open. Xandra had some misses, and she's leading the conference in field goal percentage. But when that happens, it starts playing, in your mind, like, gosh, what's going on? They start forcing stuff. So that's what happened.
Coach, what's your mindset coming out of halftime, with it looking like that?
Energy level was low. I didn't like the energy level. I talked about it for sure because we saw that early. We saw it early. So during one of the early timeouts, it's something we talked about. So we talked about that as well as defending your home court, having some Bobcat pride. I really challenged our team to have some pride and not accept that somebody's beating you to 50-50s, that they're getting to the glass. And then being able to step out and translate. And honestly, they came out and we were scoring, we weren't getting stops, and they were beating us to 50-50s. And so I think then, again, there we go back in that cycle of, well, geez, gosh, we're scoring now. We're not getting stops. We're not getting rebounds. We're not getting, and then it just wouldn't stop, honestly. Yeah, we're even Steven in the third. And that's what I kept looking. It's like, dang, we cannot break. We just can't break this.
So, Coach Z, one of the few positives we did see tonight was, I believe in the fourth quarter, Kennedy Taylor scored 6 straight points in the fourth quarter. So what can you say about her spark off the bench as just a freshman?
Oh, I think Kennedy's done a great job for us, and I think a lot of people who've had the opportunity to watch her play in high school know that she's going to be a special player here one day at Texas State. She really has the ability to be able to break people down. She can see things before sometimes they even happen. She can play fast, especially for a kid who's so small. Years ago we had a kid by the name of Ariel Anderson who was a pretty special player, and she reminds me in a lot of ways of someone like that, but even more of a kid who can distribute versus score. And so I just appreciate the fact that it's starting to come together, because I think initially speed of the game was tough for her, so she's got a lot of turnovers. It wasn't happening as quick, but now that she's been able to play, and now she's been able to play with her teammates, she's been able to develop that chemistry that she needs, and which is nice because it takes stress off of Bailey. It also allows Bailey to play at some other positions as well.
You mentioned that they were able to stop Tasha early in the shot, or early on in the possession. What else were they doing to her to just kind of make it hard on her tonight?
They just would really, they really made it really tough because she really had. They did two things. One, they would just straight up guard her and switch off a lot of the screening action. So they just kept switching off all the time, so she'd always have someone in her face. Two, anytime there was any kind of ball screening action, they'd hedge. They do a good job of hedging with the big. Well, the tough part that we struggle with is, okay, if they're going to hedge with the big, is finding that open big. And the times that we did, the big struggle with hitting that mid-range shot or making the extra pass. And so that's what they did a good job of, One, not letting her get the easy looks that she had the first time around. I told Tasha the truth after that Georgia State game at their place. I said, it's never going to be that easy again. Like, it's just not. That was their first time. It was his first time, and it's new to our conference, his first time seeing us, and his first time playing against her. I'm not quite sure he really understood, but darn it, he understood after that game because she got quite a few open looks. I want to say maybe she had 7 threes when we were at their place. But they kind of let her run around freely. This time she wasn't able to run around freely. And so they just did a great job of switching off and her, always locating her. And when we found our open players, because they would be so, dominant, she'd be so dominant on defending her, our kids just struggle hitting those shots.
What do you think your players will learn from this experience?
One, they're going to know for sure how to learn how to bounce back. Two, that we can't have low energy. Like, you have to force it, fake it till you make it, which all y'all's coaches told you that at some point. I think the third thing that they're going to learn from this particular experience is that second scout's really important, that especially after you've beaten a team, they're going to make adjustments, and then being able to on the fly make adjustments is going to be really important, which is something we did talk about. Like, it's not going to be the same 32 that you saw before. They're going to make adjustments. They're just not going to allow, a dominant score to be able to see those kind of, points that she did. And everybody's going to take a look at this game and try to figure out, well, gosh, what did y'all do? But I will say not everybody runs the zone that they do. So,
Coach, going into Saturday's game against Georgia Southern, what's your biggest points of emphasis for practice leading up to that game?
I think one, stopping Brown. She's a really, really good player. She has to put a lot on her shoulders. She's another kid who's a high scorer. That's going to be really important for us, too. Understanding that they had 2 kids that were, one was on concussion protocol and one also was injured who's back now. One's a guard who can shoot really well. Another one's a big. That inserting those kids gives them the depth that they've needed. And so understanding that they're going to have some depth is going to be important. And 3, that, we had the opportunity to beat them at their place. And so no different than Georgia State, there's going to be a will and a want to get after it. But I really am confident with this group from everything that I've seen and known about them. They're not happy with this. They're going to bounce back from it, for sure.
You talked about when Tasha doesn't have a good night and when Brooke doesn't have a good night, who else is going to step up? How do you work on that in practice?
Shots. Yeah, lots of shots. So what we'll do is we'll walk through something offensively, and we'll show them how defenses will shift or migrate towards her, and then where that shot will come from, and then you just drill that shot. You just drill that shot wherever that shot's coming from. So where a kid is rolling, popping, cutting, whatever that is, you drill that shot over and over and over. And that just comes from practice. That's a great question. It's a good basketball question.